present our Spring iLead Capstone project, Closing the Gap, a real-time communication framework to reduce operational disruption and improve staff engagement. Through our research, we found that one of the biggest challenges across our team is communication. When information is delayed or difficult to find, it can create confusion, slow down workflows, and impact both staff and patients. Our project focuses on connecting the right people with the right information at the right time to improve collaboration, efficiency, and engagement. As our motto said, together we heal, together we communicate. Today we're excited to share our findings and solutions with you. What does the image tell us? To the right, it represents our people coming together, supporting each other, and working towards the same goal. Our capstone project focuses on creating those connections by making it easier to identify the right contact, reducing delays, and improving communication across the teams. Before we dive into the details of our project, I would like for everyone to participate for a moment. Raise your hand if you've ever waited on information that you needed to do your job. Now, keep your hand up if you've ever been copied on an email that had nothing to do with you. Probably a lot of us, right? Or maybe the opposite, where you copied on an email that you actually did not need it. It happened to me too. How about wondering who owns an issue or who is responsible for resolving it? And finally, how many times have you asked yourself, who do I contact for this? We all ask the same question, right? So many times. If you raised your hand and any of those questions, you're not alone. These are the common challenges that many of us experience every day. They can create delays, confusion, frustration, and extra work. That's exactly why we're here today. Our team wanted to find a way to reduce those communication barriers and create a clear, more efficient path to getting the right information to the right people at the right time.
So let's talk about some challenges that we came up with in our research, okay? First challenge, imagine this. A physician unexpectedly calls out of their shift. It happens all day, every day. That's exactly what all right? Now let's look. Scheduling, they're getting texts from the clinician, okay? Recruiting, they're sending emails. Hey, Dr. So-and-so, how's it going? Oh, you called out? That's not me. Call scheduling, okay? Operations, they're calling clinicians to see how things are going. Revenue cycle, they don't even know that Dr. So-and-so didn't show up because it's not their turn yet. And patient support, they're not going to hear about it till later. Each department is doing their job, and it's not that we're not staffed, it's about communication of the staff that should be on site.
Nice.
Another challenge, oh man, that's a sensitive one, okay. All right, a new service launches Monday morning. Marketing, you guys are amazing. You publish some amazing resources. That's great. Recruiting, they're still using the old platform and they actually haven't even had their training yet on the new program that's being launched on Monday. Operations, they didn't even know the timeline, and what do you mean that I can't use my system? I was gonna work tonight after hours and try and get things done, but I'm blocked for 3 more nights. Patient support, they can't answer the questions because yet again, our quick Q&As aren't out yet for them to research and have best answers to give. And business development, they're getting conflicting information. We always wanna put our best foot forward, so we don't always share the true deficits of implementation of new launches, but really we have some underlying issues going on. It's again, not that each of us aren't executing what we're supposed to do in the department, it's communicating about how we do it together.
One of the biggest takeaways from our research was that the problem isn't a lack of communication. We already communicate a lot. The real disconnect is that we don't have a clear approach to share information, escalate concerns, and follow through. During our interviews, 2 quotes really stood out. Time kills all deals, and coming from recruiting, we definitely don't have time for that. Another person shared, teams can sometimes work in silos and lose sight of how their work affects others. Those comments reflected what we consistently heard across departments. After conducting more than 15 interviews, we identified 5 common themes: too many communication channels, inconsistent escalation processes, unclear ownership, different expectations between teams, and people relying on relationships instead of a standard process. What stood out to us was that these weren't individual communication challenges. These were a process gap. That's what led us to focus on creating a framework that supports consistency and clarity. Consistency and clarity. We asked ourselves, what would better communication look like moving forward? Our solution was to create a communication framework guided by a SMART goal. It doesn't require any new tools. Instead, it creates consistent communication standards using the tools that we already use on a daily basis. We also wanted to make sure our solution was measurable, so we'll track success through adoption of the framework, faster issue resolution, and improved employee feedback and communication clarity. Our goal isn't to change how much we communicate, it's to make every interaction more intentional. When everyone has clear expectations and a shared process, we spend less time chasing answers. We're working together more efficiently and ultimately providing better care for our patients, because that's what we're looking for. Randy will walk you through that framework.
Yay, the meat and potatoes. Okay, so after working through all of our interviews and really identifying the common communication challenges across SCP, our proposed solution is a standardized communication framework. Because we really feel and believe, and from our interviews understand, that when people know who to contact, when information is needed, and when to escalate, the work not only gets faster, but fewer people are needed in those resolution conversations, and ultimately patient and clinical operations experience fewer disruptions. And so our goal as a team wasn't to create another document that we listed on SharePoint that we just forgot about because the training folks just went and we don't, we're working on that. But the goal is to remove the uncertainty by giving all of the teams the same communication expectations, the same tools, and the same escalation pathways. So instead of one large document, we created 6 practical documents that complement each other and work very well together. They were the communication standards, the communication guide, decision tree, an escalation matrix, a contact directory, and a RACI template. And each of these individually solves a very unique communication challenge, but together they create one consistent communication experience across departments. So we thought of it kind of like a GPS. Think about this. Everyone's trying to reach the same destination, but if every department is using different directions, a different map, then we're going to end up going different ways, different routes. Our teams aren't communicating ineffectively. We just don't have the same roadmap. And so that's what our framework provides. It doesn't replace our good communication. It makes our good communication better, faster, stronger, smarter. So we put our money where our mouth is. And we aren't just describing the framework, we actually built it. So the QR code on this slide is a link to the framework, to all the documents. So please feel free to scan it now and peruse if you would like. If not,
It's amazing.
it's really weird. Go ahead. We did it live.
Wait, are we sure it's safe?
They made me lose my place. Okay, so we've designed all the tools to be practical, not just theoretical. They're easy to reference, flexible enough to use to support across many different departments, all the departments, and easy enough to infuse in our day-to-day operations. And Lenny's going to talk more about that in a second. Because they allow our teams to spend less time figuring out how to communicate and more time actually resolving the issues that we need to resolve. So for example, the decision tree, and this is just screenshots of examples, so the decision tree helps employees determine if an issue does need to be escalated before escalating it. The escalation matrix would clarify who needs to be involved in that escalation and when. The contact directory tells you who you should even contact to begin the process of escalating and who owns each process. And then the RACI template helps teams clarify roles and responsibilities for those escalations and any new or changing workflows. So individually, each tool solves a specific communication challenge, but together they create a standardized approach that reduces confusion and helps teams do the work that matters most. Because at the end of the day, our goal is not more documentation. It was always about less uncertainty. Okay.
Okay, so as you've seen, we've developed a practical communication framework, but a framework only creates value if people actually use it. So as we developed this project, we kept coming back to one important question. How do we make sure this actually gets used? We knew that even the best toolkit wouldn't create change if employees had to go looking for it. So instead of introducing another system or another resource, we focused on embedding communication into the work employees are already doing. That would start with onboarding, new manager orientation, leadership development, and annual communication training. Creating consistent expectations from day one. From there, the framework becomes part of everyday work through Outlook templates, Teams or WebEx, meeting agendas, project templates, and operational huddles. Leaders reinforce those expectations through coaching, regular recognition, and regular communication reviews. We didn't want to create another binder that sits on the shelf. We wanted communication standards to become part of the organization's daily habits. Our goal is simple: make the right communication the easiest communication. So throughout our interviews, we heard something that really stood out. Employees weren't asking for yet another communication platform. They were asking for clarity. They wanted to know who owns an issue, who needs to be involved, how to escalate concerns, and where to find reliable information. That's what this framework is designed to provide. As we continue living SCP Health's mission of Together We Heal, we believe that the healing begins long before a clinician sees a patient. It begins with how we communicate with one another. We also believe that this framework directly supports our strategy of precision, poise, and purpose. Precision by creating clear communication standards, defined ownership, and consistent expectations. Poise by giving employees the confidence to know how and when to communicate, collaborate, and escalate issues. Purpose by helping our teams spend less time navigating communication challenges and more time supporting one another, our clinicians, and ultimately the patients we serve. Together, we believe this framework can help create a more connected, consistent, and collaborative organization. Thank you.
I'd like to ask our participants or guests if you have any questions for Team Agility.
I don't have any questions, but man, that was awesome. Like,
Agreed.
QR code, that was like just.
Let's take it up a notch, huh?
That was great.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't know if I made this up, but I feel